We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times, sigh. We go deep. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by CosmoMom09, Rachel Burt, and Survivors tier member, Jasmine.
Woo!
It's good to have you on, Jasmine. She's in her inaugural hosting role today. This is great. It's awesome. She knows.
Love having you here.
She knows how this works. We have to embarrass her a little bit. Is that your dorm room, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, at university. See, Jasmine's a university student. TWD
right.
aficionado and June enthusiast.
Knowledge is power.
Just so everybody knows, our Spooky Squawktober cosplay contest is still ongoing. You can still send your submissions till the end of this. Well, you have one more week to send these submissions. Obviously, we're recording on a Sunday. You may not even hear this until like Thursday, Friday. So you'll have the weekend to submit your submissions. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't do it now, you'll never do it. You'll never learn. So
get it in.
Yeah, get it in there. You have the chance at winning a Negan Lives comic signed by the man himself, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, as well as a $25 gift cards to Michael's. As much as most of us have a distaste for the Fear the Walking Dead subreddit, one of the admins, Connected VG, who happens to be a pretty cool person, is actually in the hospital sick with COVID. And I wanted to kind of send my well wishes and speedy recovery. I always tries to give the members a space to kind of figure things out for themselves. And I kind of respect that, you know, even though the subreddit kind of sucks a little bit because it's kind of dominated by bad people. But I don't know, like by mean people.
You're not kidding. That's just truth.
You know, I'm trying to find a nice word to say that. And I actually dropped a note this morning because he'd been getting a lot of shit about this one particular banning of someone who keeps trying to create new accounts to come back. And so he explained that to me in private. Well, should I have said this in public? I have no idea. But he thanked me for defending him and his decision, and it was really nice. And you know, and meanwhile, like he's like, I wish I respond to you sooner, but I'm in the hospital with COVID. I'm like, what?
Jeez.
It took you only several hours. Only. It's not like it was a week. It's like, oh
my gosh.
I apologize for not. Okay, get better. Get better, you dummy. You know, I'm going to clip this out and send this to him now, too. So he actually also said it was really cool that we built a community around this podcast. And I like that he noticed that we try. That's what we're trying to do here. Because that's the philosophy. Like, we are Squawking Dead and all that stuff. So let's turn the embarrassment over to Jasmine. I just want to see how you're doing. How are you adjusting to uni life? How has everything been going on over there? And if you have any news.
I don't have any news.
Nothing to share with the crowd? I'm putting you on the spot and everything.
On the spot here.
Exactly. That's the whole point. You know why I do this, right? There's a lot going on up here. If I break you down now, you'll open up later. See, guys, there's a reason why I embarrass you so much. Rachel, how's school going?
Great. It's going great.
She's using one-word answers. See, she's smart. She knows what's coming.
That's right. You want more? You got to ask more.
I'm going to make a note. I'm going to make a note of that. Use one-word answers.
Yeah, exactly. If you want more, head over to cosmo.com/cosmo.
You could go up there if you want, but you're not going to be updated on my school progress. I couldn't even tell you the last time I was on my coffee account.
Meanwhile, I always promote it. It's like in every episode.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why.
My mistake. It has your socials there. That's a reason.
Yeah.
Reasons. Yeah. Sharon couldn't make it to this recording. I actually uploaded a video from her that I heavily edited because I love her too much. She tried.
Right. We rely on you to make us look good, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you do.
I endeavor.
I definitely like this episode a lot more than I did the first one. One of the things we always talk about is the connective tissue. If somebody hadn't done this, then this wouldn't have happened, and this wouldn't happen. And Leo actually touches on that when he's talking to Lila. And he says, if you hadn't committed your indiscretions, talking about her, talking about Hope being so smart, then my daughters would be dead. So even he's recognizing that things happen, and if they don't happen, then other things can't happen, if you follow what I'm saying.
So let's talk about how you guys felt about this episode, because, you know, first episode, there's a lot of bones flying all over the place. It was kind of like
quite a few.
It's like a bloodbath or bone bath. So let's start with Jasmine. Actually, tell us how you felt about this, the last episode compared to this episode, and where you think the improvements were, or how you felt about this.
Yeah, I really did not like the last episode. I thought this one was a lot better. I think there's just more going on in this episode that like made sense. It was easier to follow. If that makes sense.
Well,
Yeah,
what was the thing
absolutely.
what was the thing that was difficult to follow in the first episode? See, I'm gonna push you right
So
now.
I didn't like the thing where Hope's like dreaming but not dreaming at the same time. But also I didn't really remember a lot of season 1, so when they were trying to like fill us in on what's happened since season 1, I was like, oh, I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
So that didn't help.
And so, what made this episode more clear or more clear cut, or is that, if that's even accurate to say, or what did you like about it more than the first?
I like that we got to like actually look around like campus colony and stuff. It all kind of was more.
It's funny that you said campus colony instead of the research facility, because
That's what I meant.
it felt kind of like campus colony in a way, or
It did.
yeah, it's not an accident. So like peeling back the curtain
Nothing ever is.
of the Civic Republic, basically, right? Yeah. What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jasmine right off the bat. I was glad that this was a more straightforward episode where there wasn't a lot that we had to like figure out. You know, is this real? Is this not real? I'm not opposed to those episodes, but it was just really jarring for a first episode to throw something like that in there. Using this dream, not a dream sequence in a season premiere was too soon. It was just too soon. It was too confusing. It wasn't clear what was happening. So I for that reason, I definitely liked this episode a lot more. You knew exactly what was going on. And also, like Jasmine said, I think it's really cool that we got to see more of the inside of the RF. I'm going to start using these
The lingo.
the lingo that the kids use.
The CR's RF.
Yeah, exactly. So Lila was very eager to give Hope a tour, right? Oh, like come look at everything we're doing. But I wonder what part of everything she's showing Hope. Is she showing Hope the dark side, or is she showing Hope what's gonna hook her and want to get her involved? And what happens when Hope sees the rest of the research facility?
Well, yeah. So, okay, obviously there's the soft sell involved, right? One of the things we said about the first episode was, it was like they were just kind of, I mean, it was a slow start. It was kind of a slow burn. It was almost intentional. They kind of like they were easing you in. And it was very dark, too. Everything was very, very dark and shrouded in mystery and also confusing. And there's like a lack of forthcomingness. There's a lack of information. It's as if they were starving you of information. You're like, hey, this is the season premiere. Hey, you're supposed to tell us everything. Hey, you're supposed to beat us over the head. And what is this?
Open all these doors for us. Yeah, exactly.
And what is this episode? Do you realize what they're doing to you? They're doing to you the same thing they're doing to Hope right now. They're giving you the soft sell. They're easing you in. They're showing you all the flash in the pan thing. You know, they're just like, oh, there's running water. There's light. There's showers, right?
A bathroom with 4 walls.
Yeah, exactly, right? Okay, so you following what I'm saying? The first episode was intentional, for sure.
Well, everything they do is intentional. So, I mean, I can have my beefs, I can have bones to pick, but at the end of the day, they know what the hell they're doing, and I shouldn't even question it. I mean, we're all entitled to opinions, but they're right. Whatever they do, they're right.
You know, mea culpa.
Yeah.
I threw a lot of shade in the first episode.
Yeah.
I did. Sharon is like, I just hate this episode. Gross. I'm like waiting for her to say something right now. I still stand by my statement. Shut the fuck. You know, like whatever. But yeah, I mean, the first episode was kind of like it's like short-term loss, long-term gain. Like you watch the second episode, you're like, oh, they're busting open the doors a little bit for me. And maybe it's just like you said about what they're trying to show Hope, just the right doors. Now this is what gets me. I feel like we need to talk about this next because you are onto something that I was thinking of as well, and that's the planting, the leaving of stuff in the bathroom and not cleaning it up, the earrings.
Oh yeah.
Now listen, my wife,
the earrings,
is not one to be clean or like to not leave things everywhere. She does. But if you're trying to ease your potential stepdaughter, I don't know how to, is it stepdaughter, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of want to make sure your bases are covered. You kind of, and she seems like a person who's very mindful. I say seems.
Lila? You mean Lila?
Yeah. She seems like, excuse me. I'm just trying to imitate you from that one clip. Eugene. It's like, but right, she comes off as very mindful and kind and try not to step on toes. But then, like, of course, you know, if you're that mindful, clean up the bathroom, dummy.
I think it was intentional.
Exactly.
I do.
Even to the point where she's trying to apologize. "Oh, if I hadn't said something, I'm sorry. My deceptive nature. I was caught."
That was all bullshit too. That whole conversation was bullshit.
So this
she's covering her bases right now, because one of these days Leo's going to find out that she was in on all of this from the beginning, that she didn't just happen to offer up the wrong piece of information. No, she was in on it. So now she's going to have plausible deniability down the road. So when Kublek is like, no, she knew the whole time, Leo, she was in on it, she can be like, no, I told you. I told you everything. And so, yeah. She's just setting the stage for her own denial later.
I'll get to the question of Leo in a second, but I kind of want to drill down a little bit further on this point. Is Lila in too deep? And by that, what I mean is, do any of us feel like there's a part of her that is struggling with this ruse?
What do you think, Jasmine?
I'm not sure.
Do you think she
Fair
has
answer.
Yeah, that is fair. Do you think her feelings for Leo are real?
I think there's definitely feelings for Leo, but she's trying to balance, like, having the feelings for Leo and then also, you know, sticking with the story.
We do see a little bit of this in season 1. You know, she's looking out into Samuel Abbott, Walker Sam, at whatever stage he's in. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's something we need to bring up at some point, constantly. And she's having that pretend conversation with Leo at first, and, you know, and about her admitting to her admissions. You know, either it's her practicing her speech in order to be convincing spy or whatever it is, or maybe there is a bit of a concern. Maybe there is a bit of some sort of conflict. Either way, we find out at the end when she's talking to Elizabeth Ormond. No, when she's talking to Elizabeth Kublek.
Lieutenant Colonel.
We see her at the end with her, and it's like, oh, that's what you're for. You know, okay, all right, okay. Trying to get him on their side, etc. And look, I get it. Both Lila and Leo appear to be not true believers, but like they believe in the cause. I mean, Leo in his video opens up about being a partner.
Yeah.
You know, which I note the language, because partner meaning I'm equal. I'm just another alliance member. I'm not subservient to the Civic Republic. Hey, we're buddies, right? Here, we're partners. Right. I don't know if that's still the case, because when did he record that? In 2 months, he's done more than most people in however long.
Say it'd have to be, I would assume, a couple of months after he got to CR.
Yeah, when did he leave? 2 months means that it's 2 weeks after they left Campus Colony into their wild journey. Because remember, 6 weeks. They were out there for 6 weeks, you know, a month and 2 weeks.
Did we ever drill down how long Leo and Will had been gone before the show even started?
We did, and I all I know is that Huck's been there, and I love how they reiterate. Okay, let me back up. I love how to answer your question, let's start with, they confirmed what we had actually figured out about Huck's mission to Campus Colony had been 2 years. We had figured that out based on the meeting with Will and Felix, and how long they've been together, and like how long Huck and Felix have had time to build their friendship. So that's cool. We're awesome. Cool. I don't have to recite that episode. I don't know. I don't know when it was. It was somewhere in last year. Whatever.
Just go listen to all of them, and you'll
Just
run
listen to
across
all
it.
of them. It's not that many.
Yeah.
Right. They're not that long. But the only I will say the last episode edited down was an hour and 20. Not that much. It's not
that
bad.
was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So then we get to the part when Leo had disappeared. And I figured it wasn't that too long after. It seems like maybe it was 2 months prior to them leaving Campus Colony. Let's just say that. Let's just say that...
when the show starts, Leo has been gone for about 2 months.
About 2 months. Let's just say that. Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable with that too. Jasmine, you want to fight us on this, or we're sharing it in the chat?
I feel like it's longer than that.
Okay. Elaborate.
So I feel like they wouldn't go after him after just 2 months of being gone.
Not even after receiving the communications that they did saying he was in trouble?
Yeah, but he has to get like established before he's gonna be able to start thinking about ways of communicating and stuff. I don't feel like
true.
On day one he'll start communicating with them.
Or comfortable, right? Because you know, you get to that comfort level, you think you can, they're cool, I was
thinking more along the lines of like a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that's fair, actually.
In the first episode, doesn't Felix mention how long Leo and Will have been gone? I don't know why I keep landing on 4 months for some reason.
Ooh,
I don't know where that comes. I don't know if I dreamt it or...
Well, we can break even and go, hey, audience, if you have a clue, because we're going to probably not look at the episodes in the first. We're probably not going to look at the pilot and look it up. So, hey, audience, if you happen to know, let us know in the comments. So, thank you. We've settled that. Because again, timelines, I don't like to get
We could spend all day on
Yeah.
timelines. That's
And
an
again,
all-day conversation.
This show has done a pretty good job of laying out timelines in a relatively good fashion compared to the other shows. I think, especially Fear the Walking Dead. What?
I agree.
Where are we? When are we? Where are we? The world just blew up and everything seems to be okay, although maybe not so much. I say all this because I wonder too. I wonder if Lila Bellshaw is struggling. I wonder where she's at mentally. I also wonder if Leo hasn't already started piecing the puzzle together, clearing his head. Not as much to visit Elizabeth Kublek as it was to clear his head. Right? Because I think when he does visit Kublek, he makes it a point to play a kind of game of mind chess. He's like, here's what I know. And the extent of your manipulation is as follows. He kind of throws in her face, like, to let you know how Felix and Iris are arriving. Oh, like you did my security detail? Then he says, oh, like you did with manipulating Huck thousands of miles to come over to this place? Oh, and how about that mole? That mole being your daughter. At the end of this all, she says something very interesting to me, and that's she's more valuable than 1 million soldiers. But we also
more important to her than 1
Right.
million.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that actually caught my eye. What we said in the last episode and what we experienced last year was, okay, yes, as much as Elizabeth Kublek is a human being who does feel remorse over the loss of lives by way of her crying on the map when it comes down to the massacres at Campus Colony, which is the only thing we knew at the time. 10,000 people was enough. But then we found out it's basically 100,000 people plus. Anyway, when she says she's more valuable to me than 1 million soldiers, that struck me because I feel like that is not unimportant. As a true believer, even though she has feelings, she believes in the cause. She's a true believer. We got to do bad to do good, as Huck says, but like she also says, we are the light of the world, and then sends Barca to a re-education camp, just beforehand. I wonder if that is going to be put to the test because Leo makes a concerted effort to say in this episode that everything I do for my family, essentially. And I feel like he's not saying this unimportantly. In my opinion, I feel like his version of saving humanity is, I'm doing this all for my children. Felix, Iris, and Hope.
I think Elizabeth Kublek is a soldier first and a mother second. I think she does love her daughter. However, I think that she's also an acceptable loss. If she didn't make it back from her mission, that's something that Elizabeth would have been prepared to deal with. So compared to Leo, and Leo would be devastated. He would never, and his daughters would never be an acceptable loss. Whereas Elizabeth,
neither
the
would
soldier, he what?
He wouldn't be an acceptable loss either.
Oh, no. Well, no. I mean, he is very important to the future. Like, the CR, I don't think, would consider him an acceptable loss. His brain is worth more than 1 million soldiers. I want to think that Elizabeth does, in fact, care about her daughter. I don't know that I have any proof of that. I just hope that she does.
That's a very important point, what you just said, because I was almost thinking, oh, yeah, well, maybe they're going to play with that. My daughter's more valuable to me than 1 million, because maybe she's lying.
Absolutely. But she knows that those words would hold weight with Leo. So she says it. She uses what she needs to.
I take your point.
She's a master manipulator.
See, I was confused because Hook was staying at that camp that's like outside the CRM.
The perimeter?
Yeah. So I want to know, like, why was she living there if her mum is in the research place?
Okay, so one of the things that we said, I love that you said this because it's like I couldn't have set it up better. One of the things we had said last year was that the folks at the perimeter. So, like, why do they know Huck? Why do they know Jennifer Malik?
Yeah, and why does she know where they are? And
why?
Yeah,
Why?
Exactly.
We had theorized last year, and look, we could be horribly wrong. But I have a feeling because of New York, Huck's deployment to Middletown, New York, Garnett Medical Center, where things started to go bad, showing the backstory of her saving all those people, killing all her brothers in the process. and doing this, killing her brothers in the process to save these people, the people that she had saved are the folks of the perimeter. I don't know if this is the thing that Kubelik says to Malik, to Jennifer Malik, that thing that you did 2 years ago that made me need to deploy you out here on this mission to make up for what you did. I don't know if that's the same thing, but I do get the feeling that the people of the perimeter are the people she goes, hey, Mom, you're an attaché for the UK military. Can you help with these people and bring them to safety? And then that is how they establish the perimeter, like as an excuse to go, oh, you're protecting this research facility. You're good for that. That's what you're good for. And because of her love for her daughter or for the importance they're trying to give these people, that's how they're able to survive this perimeter clan or colony, let's say.
It is still strange to me that the CRM allows them such freedoms. That is still confusing. It's cool because it allows people a sanctuary, but at the same time, it's like, why? Why would the CRM allow this?
Right, because in the back of your mind, you're like thinking, why do they need this if they have the manpower? Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're spread way too thin. I don't know. But the fact that it's weird to us should be a good signal to us to say, that's weird. Why? And it could be that having it be civilians protecting the research facility. I mean, it's kind of like what Hope said earlier. She goes, I expected more guard dogs and watchtowers.
Yeah.
But maybe the whole point is maybe the Civic Republic military recognizes that in order for people to be productive, they have to back off to the point where they're far away so they can feel comfortable giving them what is referred to in this episode, and I refuse to get it out of my brain, something Lila says to Leo, no useful data here goes to waste.
Yeah.
And so that is something that is just like alarm bells, like, oh, now let's take that statement, put it everywhere. And so when Hope says, guard dogs, watchtowers, where are they? Okay, so the perimeter is exemplary of that. It's like, okay, let's have civilians protect this place. Let's make it so that they feel comfortable doing the research without a helmet head looking over their shoulder. Feel safe instead of be safe, right? Or whatever it is. And maybe they are safe. Maybe they're protecting it from using flybys and all that stuff. And that's fine. As long as they're far away, they can be productive. Feel comfortable. Maybe make mistakes that they can pick up, like transmissions to campus colony, right?
So I think I missed something along the way here somewhere. The perimeter community is protecting the research facility? Question mark?
Yeah.
Where was that said? Where was that said?
So
I missed that.
That's why they're called the perimeter. They are basically protecting this.
Where was that said though? Who
in the
said
first
that?
episode. In the first episode.
I missed that. Who said it? When was it said?
I think it was Indira who said that, I believe.
That their whole reason for existing is to protect the. Now, see, when I heard them call the perimeter, I just assumed, like, to me that meant they're like on the outskirts of everything, away from the CR. I completely missed someone saying that they protect the research facility. I don't remember that being said.
I don't think it was said explicitly that it protected the research facility, but what I do know is that they were very close to it. I mean, basically very close to figuring out where Leo was until Huck and Felix had that conflict at the retirement home, which again they mentioned again, so they kind of catch you up a little bit.
And we know they're close to the research facility because Iris walked there in the middle of the night and killed that soldier, right? That's how we know they're close enough? Because she walked.
Right. All I know is that, okay, like the perimeter is kind of like a buffer or like a neutral zone. It allows the civilians to protect at least the first stage of security towards wherever they are, really. And listen, it's not leaps and bounds assumptions to assume that the perimeter is the outside, perimeter being the word,
right.
of what they're protecting is probably most likely the research facility. So they seem pretty close, I think. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like that's what it is.
That makes more sense to me, why the perimeter has these freedoms, why they are sort of left alone. They're like, okay, well, if you take care of this, we'll leave you alone.
Right.
I guess that just wasn't, I obviously totally missed it, or it wasn't very clear. It wasn't clearly stated that that's their reason for being there.
I think it was stated that there is we protect this, not the research facility per se, but we protect this area. She didn't say exactly what it was, with good reason, right? Because what if she did say it and they wanted to go attack it or whatever it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
But she said we protect this area, and the CR gives us food and supplies and stuff like that.
I assumed it would be like if their property.
If you're first, right, exactly. Whatever it is, it's their property, but I'm making the assumption that it's the research facility. But I say this because that makes complete sense. If any strangers wander into this perimeter area, they're like, this is just a colony. This is not really a security thing or whatever. Seems normal, And so, and maybe they are protecting something for whom we don't know, because you're not supposed to know what the Civic Republic is. You're not supposed to know what the military looks like. Helmet heads, executioners, not supposed to know what they look like. So it's smart. It's a good smokescreen.
If that's the case, though, why don't they have like an active communication stream between the two places or something?
Good question.
Like a radio, they could radio if there's people.
Hey, we got an attack coming in. Heads up. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good question, but the answer is actually very simple. It's because if they had a two-way communication system, let's say they come in, they speak to them in person, go away. Whoever takes over the perimeter has a means to contact the CR, and you are not to contact the CR.
Not even to warn them about an attack.
They would easily be destroyed if someone wanted to get past.
Yeah, I say this because I think the perimeter knows. They signed like a what do you call it? The terms and conditions sheet. It's like, you know what you are. You are the first line of defense, meaning if you go down, you're expendable. But you're going down means we have a heads up, just by way of either gunfire, explosions, whatever it is. It's like plausible deniability. We will see them coming. You will be the smokescreen. And when you go down, because it seems like they're in a valley, they're in a low position. When you go down, that's it. Now we know to pack our shit and go. And we'll have enough time to do that. But in exchange, here's food, here's supplies. You can be an artist community, whatever you want to do. Whatever hippy dippy shit you want to do. This makes sense when it comes to like a community building. You can't do everything yourself. I mean, there is an intelligence to it. Do you want it so that your soldiers are out in the open, protecting a facility that may be vulnerable, especially if you're the Civic Republic military? Like, no, we don't want people to know who we are, what we're doing, to even find the research facility. So you want as much buffer as possible.
But they do still have soldiers out on patrol. So they are doubling it up.
Yeah, it seems like they only do it at night, not during the day where they can be spotted. Yeah, and it's shoot to kill. As soon as they hear a sound, they kill animals, they kill whatever, walkers, of course.
Except for Felix. Felix can be as loud as he wants and not be killed at all. That's,
very interesting that you say that, because if you hear the subtitles or watch and hear the subtitles, he goes, oh shit, you can't just kill them out there when the walkers fall to the ground. He's like, oh, you got to catch them. So he runs out there and catches the second one.
But he's like, don't let him hit the ground. We gotta catch him. You just made the clip. All right, Sharon, you got this? You're writing this down, right? Well, Sharon says, and then he drops it anyway. But he drops it. Yeah.
He drops it gingerly. It's funny
but
how
he drops.
But he lets it fall and he lets it fall gently instead of thuds to the floor. I'm not gonna pick this. See, here's the thing.
Thuds.
Here's the thing that bugs me the most. Okay,
my God.
where the sound and Foley come in. Foley is, for those who don't know, Foley is like when you make sounds to sound like other things for the sake of the show, because the mics aren't going to pick up everything. And also the real life sounds aren't always as impactful as made up sounds. That's Foley. So there were parts where the Foley came in too hot, or the dialogue came in too hot. And then there were really important parts like near the end where Iris and Felix are having this important conversation about Iris saying, I wasn't scared. I was just saying, I would have been disappointed if I didn't get a chance to hit back. And Felix is like, yeah, I agree. But that whole dialogue was like, there were parts where I could barely make it out because over the sound of like the wind or whatever, or the water or whatever it was. And then like at night with this night shoot, maybe it's on set, maybe it's outside, whatever. It was a little too loud, right? Mm-hmm. It was too much. So I don't know if they're just trying to figure things out. And I don't know if it wasn't COVID too. That's another thing that we have to keep in mind. There is COVID filming going on here. There are people standing 6 feet apart from one another while they're talking to each other, except for the walkers because they have full-blown masks on.
No.
But you get it. You get it. You can pick this show apart, but like
it was just hilarious.
It is hilarious.
At the end of the day, it didn't affect the storyline at all. They didn't actually hear them or anything, but it's like, could you be any louder? No, I don't think you could. Leaves crunching and just bad.
And I felt like I had to say this and bring up the COVID filming because they're working really hard to give us something to chew on, and
without spending too much more time on this, help me connect the dots between the sound level and COVID restrictions. Because that happens at a computer, at a desk, not around other people. Yes? No?
We have to have the Foley, yes. The sound effects,
Yeah.
yes. That happens in a studio, right? But
Okay.
the actual sound has to be like lav mics, and you have to get the boom mics just right. And then you have to get them at a certain distance. And
But
you have to be a
adjusting
certain-
levels, that happens one-on-one with you and a computer, yes?
Well, it happens first in person. And you have to get the right levels too. If you're too hot, you get too much background noise. If they're too low, you don't get the dialogue you need, and you have to blow it up, and it sounds terrible. So everything has to be just right. You have to use the right equipment. You have to get close when you need to get close. You have to get far away when you need to get far away. And when they were doing the filming on the ridge, they were very far away, so it was picking up a lot of noise and stuff like that. Maybe it was a windy day, so the lav mics picked up a lot of wind that didn't need to pick up. So they're doing their best. They're doing their best, I think. And we noted this like in the bonus episodes too of The Walking Dead, how like some dialogue had to be replaced in ADR in the studio.
Oh,
and it sounded fake. I mean, when that one I showed you about Jerry and Carol, that one conversation.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Again, right?
Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do.
And maybe they should have done a little bit more of that. But maybe they also didn't have time too, because I feel like they jumped right on filming as soon as COVID filming was allowed. Yeah.
Time restrictions make more sense to me than COVID restrictions.
Yeah, no. Time plus COVID equals, well, some things aren't going to be airtight.
Yeah.
I think. I put it to you, has Leo figured out that this is all a doing of the Civic Republic?
Oh, poor Leo. He thinks he has it figured out, but he has no, like, he knows this much about a puzzle this big. So I just feel bad for him. And he walks into Elizabeth's office all smug, like, oh yeah, I'm going to put this bitch in her place. And then she's like, you're excused now. Oh my God. I loved it. I shouldn't have, but I did.
Something I said in the last episode, how these episodes are going to prove that Iris knows what she's doing, or at least demonstrate that Iris knows what she's doing as far as physical prowess, as far as crossbow handling or whatever. Now, it could be all magical thinking, but the show's going to keep reiterating, oh, Iris knows what she's doing, Iris knows what she's doing. Okay, and then you just kind of, at some point, you're going to have to accept it. At some point, you're just going to have to go, okay, all right, I don't believe it, but this is what you want to show,
Iris.
And they do show it a lot in this episode. I'll tell you how they do it. Obviously, with the crossbow with Felix, that's low-hanging fruit, right? You're like looking at Felix and what we're doing a William Tell on this Walker kill here? Fine. Again, low-hanging fruit. I don't want to dwell on that one. But the one scene that actually got me to think a little bit more about it was not near the end, but it was kind of like near the middle, where both Will and she are putting down walkers near the pond, where they're having the second discussion about basically her convincing Will, at least, that it was the CR that did the whole thing. And Will goes, I would be lying if I didn't think, even after they were trying to kill me, that, okay, maybe they did do it, right? But, and again, we have to go over this one point, is that even us watching it are still in disbelief that they did this. And then, so of course, it makes sense transferring that over to Felix and Will. It would be even harder to believe, because they're an Alliance member. Why would they do that? Doesn't make sense to me. But we know the truth. We saw them do it. It's easy for us.
But why does Iris know?
Because she's super intelligent. I mean, there are things like we dropped in the last episode about Verite.
Because her dreams told her.
Yeah, but we acknowledge that
acknowledge.
No, but we acknowledged last year that Iris is just as intelligent as Hope. Without them, the other, they're they're a team. I mean, yeah, exactly, and a team of intelligence. So it's easy to kind of make the connection that, okay, she's working things out in her brain in the background, putting the pieces of the puzzle of her dream, but her dream means this doesn't seem right. Will dropping the hint that a column took down Omaha and Campus Colony, they knew exactly where to go, where to travel, decimating everything in sight, doesn't make sense. Which is why in her dream she's pulling down the Walker mask. Oh, it's the CRM. She's putting the pieces together in a way that other people can't. And so that's why that happens. After this conversation with Will about her thoughts, Will agreeing with her, Felix eventually copping on, and also being angry, and also going along with Iris. And also, I think, is a good time to actually mention that remember what Felix was all about. And this is why it's harder to convince Felix. Felix in the very beginning was like, okay, girls, it's time to turn back. It's time to be conforming. I'm the security detail at Campus Colony. Let's go back now. Okay, maybe I'll take the boys to Omaha while Huck and the girls continue. Sounds like a great plan, right, Jennifer? And then look at where we're at now. Felix is following Iris now. That's another tick in the prowess corner for Iris. He's like, maybe she's seeing something that I don't. Maybe she's feeling something or has a plan that I don't know about. And maybe Felix knows Iris longer. Felix knows that she's very smart too. Maybe not genius level smart. I don't know. But also you have to remember in the pilot, what was Iris doing? She was taking all the courses she needed to be that smart person that she wanted to be the hope of the world instead of drawing. She was out there making connections, being the star student, not like Hope, who had childhood trauma, even though she was just as smart. Anyways, we go back to this moment here, and just as that scene ends, both she and Will are taking down walkers pretty proficiently. Again, we're dropping these little breadcrumbs that kind of like we would kind of like, oh, don't they all know how to kill walkers? No, did you see the first episode? Or was it the second episode? I can't remember which. Yeah, I think it was the second episode. It's what you get. So it's good to show people, like, I know how you feel about a thing, but just look at the thing, and eventually they're going to keep going. They're going to keep trying to convince you that Iris knows what she's doing, even though you may still not believe it, but you just have to recognize it. I get it, people.
I wrote in my notes, I don't like Iris.
That goes in my notes every week. Ugh, Iris. Ugh.
I am in the same camp as you, but I'm also you know what, that feeling that you get when you're like, oh, they're pulling the wool over my eyes. They want me to hate Iris. They want me to not like her risk taking, what she's doing. But at some point they're gonna do something that says, oh, maybe she knows what she's doing. Maybe something's happening here. Maybe she's ahead of the game on what's going on here. You know they're gonna do it, guys. They just did it to you in the last episode. I'm trying to warn you.
I think they're trying to get me to like Iris, and the more they try to get me to like her, I don't.
No, my thing is they're not trying to get you to like her. I'm trying to tell you, they're purposely trying to get you to not like her. They saw
since season 1.
Was that?
Since season 1.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
not since season. Okay, this is.
I've never liked Iris
right now. I don't think that's what they were doing in season. I think season 1 they thought, oh, she seems great, doesn't she? It was like, no, she's like not great.
So now they're steering into the skid. They're like, okay, audience, you don't like Iris.
Thank you.
We'll really make you not like her now. Well, then they're doing a great job. They're doing a wonderful job because I cannot stand her.
Do you think that's what it is? I'm convinced at this point, only because of the way they're laying all this out. They want you to see her taking more risks and going, girl, why are you stupid? Did you listen to Michonne? Anger makes you stupid.
Here's my thought process. Every time I think the show is trying to do something on purpose, the first thing I ask myself is, why? To what end? Like, why would they want me to hate Iris? What would be the reason?
At this
is
rate.
that
Yeah.
right? Why do they want me to dislike this character so hard right now? Is it because later she's gonna make a flip and save everybody? Because I'm telling you right now, that ain't gonna get me to like her.
I don't know about liking. Liking seems extreme. It may break even and go, hey, I know you didn't like her, but it seems like she's like a thing. Like, it seems like she knows what she's doing. Doesn't mean you still.
The more right she is, the more I dislike her. Every time she's right about something, I'm like, fucking, whatever. What the fuck ever.
Well, and drill down on that. Do you mean like, what do you mean about right?
Specifically the CRM,
like the CRM
thing. Yeah,
Okay.
Specifically right now, my beef is that, like, the whole
But
dream
why?
thing. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying, and I totally understand it, and I absolutely believe it, too. I do think she's intelligent enough to recognize patterns. She hears clues and uses that information, kind of like what Lila said. No useful data goes to waste. Iris takes all of that in, and she makes sense of the information that she has. What I don't like, and this is just a TV thing versus real life thing, she is so convinced that she's right. It's not even a theory. Like, she's not posing it as a theory. She's stating it as fact, when it's really just a theory of hers.
Right.
I think that's what's irritating me.
And I think we have to acknowledge this, is that maybe the damage has already been done from season 1. Is that possible? Because as you were talking, I'm like, I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's enough that she's so cocksure, you know?
I think all of season, my building of the hatred for Iris in season 1 is definitely contributing to that. But I just don't like how she's very cocky.
Who does that sound like from
Morgan and Strand.
Well, okay, we might as well steer into that skid, because Sharon did say Morgan.
Did she? Fucking yeah, that's right. Great minds. Hell yeah.
Within the context of the show, who did that sound a lot more like? That sounded a lot more like Hope in the first season. Very cocksure, very arrogant, got herself put in campus colony jail, and Felix had to kind of like, well, sis, looks like you done did bad again. It's like, so, same thing. We're contrasting, we're paralleling, but I will say, I think it is more the damage is done part than it is the other thing. But look, that was only one season. They have a whole season to kind of turn you around. I'm hoping they do. As much as I'm okay with my expectations being turned over, I feel like it's my duty as a podcaster to point these things out, to go, hey, they're trying to get you to not like her, risk propensity. Let's say they're trying to get you to be like, this is what Michonne warned us about. The stupid gets killed. I mean, guys, come on. But we have all this front-loaded knowledge that will screw with us when things go differently. And when they do, you're like, okay, fine, okay. And you may find yourself later on going, fine, I guess I like her. Fine. I'm just saying.
Anything's possible.
And here's the worst part about all of this is that it is kind of like the conversation that Leo has with Kublek. Kublek is saying, we did a psychological profile on you, dimwit. I mean, you smart guy, but you're not smart in this respect.
Right.
Like we know that even though your daughters might be at risk and that you may even lose one of them, you'll still work towards humanity. You dope. We have you at the palm of our hands, you piece of shit. But when Leo hears all, it's kind of like when somebody tells you your future. Like, this is what you are. First of all, when anybody tells you what you are, do you automatically want to agree with them? First off, this is just a you and me thing. Like you, me, and Jasmine, and Sharon D.
That's a tough question to answer. I feel like I wouldn't know.
But like when somebody tells you what you are,
right?
but in an antagonizing way.
Like when someone tells you what you don't want to hear.
Exactly.
About yourself.
Yeah. True or not. Doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Your instinct is to disagree with them.
Might be more difficult if it's something true.
No, well, you're a special person. I'm saying that in a very, very positive way. The fact that sometimes
difficult to hear, not difficult to admit, but difficult to hear something true about yourself.
Also, it's something like maybe that you're not aware of yet, and they bring it to light. Your instinct would definitely be to disagree.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah. And then in the meanwhile, like even if it infects your mind, even while it's infecting your mind after the fact, your mind is kind of like thinking, okay, maybe it's true, but now I have a means to change that. Or I thought about that and you happen to be wrong, which is entirely still possible. Because as they're having this conversation, I keep thinking to myself, does she know that humanity, in quotes, is really, it starts with my daughters. It starts with my son in Felix, let's say. I think she has that wrong. She has the motivations all wrong. She thinks she thinks it's altruistic. It's like she missed the forward that Hope sees in the Nebraska State paper.
I think that's very clear with the conversation she's having with Lila, too. Lila's trying to convince Elizabeth why it's so important to have Hope here and get her on board. And Kublek's just like, well, isn't that what you're here for? Aren't you supposed to keep him motivated and happy? And
she's totally missing the boat on why saving humanity is important. It's for his family. And he's trying to tell her that. And she's like, no, the psychology doesn't lie. But what's great about this show, and what they showed us in the beginning, in the first season, is that in some senses, why would a father leave his children to do this? In a dead world, from our point of view, doesn't that seem a bit like, aren't you abandoning your kids? Aren't you abandoning, leaving them for extent? We don't know what's going to happen to you. The crazy thing is I love how aware the Iris, Felix, and Hope are of this fact. Felix, he's like, yeah, he's going to be safe, but I believe in everything because I'm the security guy and this is my family. This is like, my found family, and I'm leaning in all the way because this is not what I had pre-apocalypse. Sure. But the girls are kind of like, listen, we've had the pleasure of walls, kind of like what Elizabeth says. And so when we see him go out there, it's like, but we're not stupid. We know what's going on out there. We know what happens. I say all this because we have to kind of be aware that the show has painted a picture of Leo Bennett that we could have. And that's, the person that was willing to steal time away. I mean, Hope even has that conversation in the office, which they showed us in the last episode. Why she's so upset with him because he's going. Why are you going away from us? Is it because I did something? Is it because I got in trouble too many times? Is that why you're leaving? She knows that's not true, but she feels, but you shouldn't, right? But you shouldn't leave. This is a dead world. You shouldn't leave. We should be together. I don't know. I feel like this all has to go out on the table for when we try to understand Leo later on. And I feel that this is going to happen. Leo's going to cop on, or maybe he's already copped on. And I don't know that he has a choice. Or maybe he's trying to figure out a way of having a choice.
I really like the conversation that he has with Hope when he gives her little breakfast, her birthday breakfast, and he's talking about how Although, even though he wanted to give her the freedom to choose her own path, he secretly wanted her to choose his. I thought that was really cute.
That was great.
You know, I mean, that was like, oh, and then he continues on and it gets even more heartbreaking because he's like, you know, now look at us. Here we are stuck in the same place with no choices at all. I thought it was really cool that he was that open and honest with Hope about the CR this early on too. That could be kind of dangerous, but I think it really says about a lot about how much he trusts Hope. And I mean, he knows his daughter. If she thinks something's shady, she's gonna dig around. That's just her nature, right? Like, she's sort of goes against the grain. She's the rebel, and so he knows that about her. And so by planting this in her brain, he might have an ally down the road in outing these people or escaping, or I don't know what his ultimate end goal would be, but he's trying to get Hope on board with whatever it is he wants to do down the road.
I love how you went to this conversation right after the last one, because it flows so nicely. And I'll tell you why. You're hitting on something that's very important that they bring up in this episode in contrast. Let's go to that point and we'll come back to this conversation. The point that Lila is trying to make when she's giving this toy to Hope. And this is brought about, I think, in the last episode as well. Like, so Leo is trying to forge the path so that you can forge it for other people down the line. It's like there's no you. So all we are is a means for the future generations to also have the means for the future generations, for all the future generations to have all the future. So, you know, it's not about sacrificing for the next generation. It's a constant string of sacrifices, constant, never ending. We have heard this before. One of the biggest observations that we made, even before the show came on, is when we were analyzing the trailer. Oh, they're all about the future. So how do you tell a kid that your present means nothing, right? This was Campus Colony. Wait, why is this important? Because we've been singing their praises like in the latter half of the first season. Because as soon as they went out there, we're like, things kind of were great in Campus Colony. There's freedom of choice a little bit. There is a philosophy that binds people, like working towards the future, not really having a present. But I can forgive that if there's a modicum of choice. Because the conversation with Leo and Hope is, yeah, you had a choice. I gave you a wide berth to choose, hopefully coming to work with me. But whatever it was, I was going to support it. It's good to kind of contrast these two things because we made that observation. It was a harsh one. We're like, oh, there must not be any freedom of choice in Campus Colony. Oh, that sucks. Now look at the Civic Republic. Oh, you don't not only not have a present, everything is about getting a foothold into the future. Every generation is a foothold. Every generation after that is a foothold. You have no present. All you are is future. And so it's nice to kind of contrast these. Like, can I have Campus Colony back, please? Can I have it back? Can I have, please, sir? I like to do that because when we come back to that conversation with Leo, there was something that in the conversation between Kubelik and Leo that alluded to, first of all that, the tour with Lila, Kubelik and Leo, and the impression that I got is when you take the reasoning behind Leo and we kind of extrapolate that it is for his daughters. See, most people, you're a parent, Rachel, you would agree. Mm-hmm. I am going to do whatever I can to set my son up for a better future. A direct individual connection to your offspring, right? Mm-hmm. The CR or the CRM, their whole thing is it's not about your one daughter or your son or your children. It's not about setting up your personal kin with a better future. It's about all of us. And that's how you have to think. And so they don't get that when they look at Leo. They don't understand that. He grew up, he was in Campus Colony. That's not how they worked. Yes, they had a future-looking philosophy, but there was still choice. We still want to give the best to our individual, our personal offspring. Because they believe that if we give them the best future, then they will give their kids the best future like normal people. But CR is trying to undo that and say, oh, collective. It's about the collective. You just inherited 200,000 sons and daughters or whatever. You know what I mean? And grandfathers and uncles. And it's important to note that because, of course, she doesn't understand Leo's motivations. Or at least as she's refusing to get that through her thick skull. It's been 10 years later. Of course, after a while, you're thinking, why doesn't everybody think this way? Why doesn't everybody think this way? Why haven't we rewritten everybody's brains?
It makes sense that a soldier and a military personnel would have that thought process because it's been drilled into them and ingrained in their training and everything. It's sad that it does seem like Leo's the only one motivated by his family. Well, at least he's he's the only one we're seeing that is motivated by his personal family, which, okay, yes, what he's doing is for the larger human family and the future of that, but what motivates him is going to be his kids. So it's kind of stupid of the military to try and take that from him when clearly that's what's going to keep him motivated. Like,
or at least short-sighted.
for the future's sake, I would be playing into Leo's wants. Like, okay, here you go, doctor. Whatever keeps you working. Whatever keeps you
Right.
happy and working.
You know, okay. That's interesting. Sometimes I take the contrarian nature that I have and kind of say, oh, wait, let's play devil's advocate here. It makes sense what you're saying, only in as much as if you were the CR or the CRM, because this is who operates in the shadows, right? Would you trust what people say rather than the data that you pick up, right? Because people lie. And more than anything,
Okay.
they lie to themselves, right? So when Leo is saying, I do this for my family, this is my humanity, she can go, that's not what the psychological profile says. Sorry.
We'll know if Leo digs his heels in and stops working, right? Then we'll know if the psyche value was correct or not.
And then we stack up the importance of Leo against his daughters, right?
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
could be on the chopping block.
I would like
She'd be
to. I would like to see that. I would like to see Leo quit working until Felix and Iris arrive. Quit working.
I wouldn't. I don't
Well, that's-
trust them.
That's what he's saying. Is going to
I'm
happen though.
scared.
So he
I
should
like-
stick to his guns and do it.
I like Joe Holt. I want him to be on the show.
I do
Or maybe
too,
he'll
but-
be,
but it'd be
maybe he'll be like
interesting-
Samuel Abbott.
But it would be interesting to see how important Leo is.
And,
How important is he?
And maybe what you're saying, okay, I'm like, we're springboarding off springboarding because as much as it would break my heart, and I'm expressing this, I'm allowed to, what it highlights even further the things that I've been saying about we make these sacrifices not for the greater good, which is what the CR is. We got to do bad to do good. It's about the greater good, the bigger picture, the greater good. But for Leo, his sacrifice is personal. If he were to stop working, it would be to say, daughters, look at this. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. You don't need them. They're a stepping stone for you. You can do better. Hope you can survive out there. Maybe with a couple people, fine, whatever. Maybe with a walker killing Iris. And Will. And you're like, fuck this shit. Damn it, Dave. Stop making me think like him. Stop making me like Iris. I'm not trying to make you like Iris. I'm just saying to recognize certain things. Anyway, but you can do this.
With her fucking
And I do this for
Triceratops
you.
horn.
And then but it might also be a means for Lila to even wake up a bit. Because I'm not saying that Lila isn't a true believer. I think she is.
Oh, yeah.
Hope sees the
agree.
CRM tattoo, and she knows like, oh, that's suspicious. Mm-hmm. Has Leo not seen this in his tryst?
She drank the Kool-Aid. She ate the rhubarb pie. She had the ice cream.
She's like Fakeney in the Commonwealth.
Yep.
She's really military, right?
It would be really sad to see Leo go, but I think I understand where you're going. If he does this, if he sticks to his guns and says, "Look, I'm not working anymore until Felix and Iris are here safe," and they end up killing him, that's going to be a huge eye opener for Hope. Like, oh, these are the people I'm dealing with. And then his sacrifice would be to spark Hope's journey or revenge.
But it's funny. It's like, but there was an accident at the lab.
Yeah.
I bring that up because now we're going to get to talk about, I do these things. So we're going to talk about something else. The way the first two episodes start out are very interesting. You start off in the first episode in the dark. It's dark, it's murky, it's outside, it's, it's dark. It's nature. This is how the world works. It's gross. Start off in this episode, light, power, shower. It's weird to her. She's opening up the faucet. She's like, running water. What? Bathroom, 4 walls. Okay, it's very different. I feel like when Leo brings up, so what happened to you out there? Like, what, are you okay? What can you tell me about what happened? She does that, there's that like silent flashback to the events of season, which
Were you
I
ever
loved.
in real danger?
Yeah, were you ever in real danger, right? And then it shows the dangers that she was in, even to the point where people were holding her up at gunpoint.
Yeah. Not just
Right?
walkers, but people. Yeah.
I love that there was no sounds in the flashback. There was like the hint of music too. It really was emotionally evocative to kind of really bring you up to speed about where Hope is at mentally, seeing all this convenience, seeing all the power and water that she didn't have while she was out there, enduring out there, and contrasting the two things. But I also see by the end of this episode a Hope that is protecting Iris and Felix. But also I think she's starting to see, and I'm a little worried about this, starting to see the benefits of this community. What do you guys think about that? Is it possible that Hope not necessarily drinks the Kool-Aid, but thinks, that she can step foot in both worlds, but ultimately siding with the CR in terms of you may not like them, they may have manipulated me, but that's the game.
I think that she is going to start to see like the ways of the CRM, but I think that because of the conversations that she was having with Mason, I think they're going to have a bit of a connection, and he's going to kind of bring her onto the side of the CRM.
The CRM or the CR?
Well, the CR.
Okay. Here's the thing. The CR, the CRM, they're not wrong. How they're doing it is, but their overall message, their goal is not wrong. They are trying to eradicate the walkers and build a real future. Now, they're going about it like assholes, but they're not wrong. So I could see Hope believing in that, but then trying to change the methods in which they enforce all of this.
Damage from the inside.
Do you think Hope could take over the CRM?
This is going to go to my other observation, which was we have to always go back to the original premise of the show as proposed by Matt Negretti. 2 girls, 1 light, 1 dark, and ultimately may face off against one another.
I'd like to see Huck take over the CRM.
May end up well-being. If we're proposing that Hope drinks a little bit of the Kool-Aid, enough to get her to say, hey, what am I going to do? This is how it is. And Iris seems to be on the path of, no, we can beat them. But what if them is also Hope?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I say all this because then we go back to Iris' silent flashbacks. And one of the things that they flashed to was the Twin Walker.
The Twin Walker?
It was the 2 fused walkers in the BOG. Walking around
yeah. Sorry. Okay.
And they both kill that walker. Yeah, there's like the one time where they
Yes.
kind of unite and then they take down walkers together. Their first-ish walker kill. Which is a kind of, like an allegory, right? Oh, they're twins, they're taking out twins, But this is the season where they show us the contrast. You take the events of season 1, and then you flip them and you go through a dark mirror, and here's season 2 where, now we're trying to take them apart. Now we're trying to get them to go against one another. Again, sort of, but in a whole different scale. We're dropping seeds here.
I don't like being manipulated like this.
Now you know what it's like to be in the CR.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. I don't like it either, but at the same time, I'm like, okay. This is the game you want to play, Negretti? This is the game. I mean, not bad. Well played.
In a face-off between Hope and Iris right now, I'd be rooting for Hope. But I know these fuckers, and by the end of the season, they're gonna do something.
But why? And I know why. I just want you to say it. Like,
why?
Why would you root for Hope? Not because of the things you said earlier, but because of the reason, right?
Well, I just don't like Iris.
Oh, I was here.
It's pretty simple.
Trying to be generous of spirit and say, oh, no, what the CR is saying is right. The thing that they need for the future. No, I just don't like Iris. Good night, everybody. There's no more need to talk about it.
Yep, pretty simple.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, sure, I could go a little deeper and say all of that. But at the end of the day, I really just don't like Iris. But now I'm. No,
I'm sorry.
No.
Did I? Okay.
No, I'm gonna not let. See, now I feel like I'm not. Now you've got me feeling like I don't like her because they want me not to like her. Now I'm like, well, fuck you. Maybe I will like her just because you want me not to like her. But then
But now you're saying that now.
Now I'm like going crazy. I don't like being manipulated, you fuckers. I don't like it. I don't like it. I want to think for myself.
I have very important news to tell you. I'm from the Civic Republic.
You fucker.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me say what Sharon said first. Dave goes deep. ... Undercover.
Undercover.
We make deep undercover. I wanted to close the book on the conversation with Leo and Hope in that I love the little bit of campus colony philosophy of like, okay, individual freedom to pursue the future, even though that's what we should be pursuing, rather than collective pursuit. Oh, we tell you what to do so we can get a foothold. We tell you where you need to go, but no, campus colony freedom. Okay, cool contrast. But there's a little bit of Leo going, I know how this world is like, but The Walking Dead makes it so that you can become your idealized or the self that you're meant to be. I feel like Leo had that flavor. I feel like he touched on something that he is aware of is disappearing, right? That's what The Walking Dead represents. The CR is saying, no, No, it is not a dead world that wasn't meant to be revived. No. And maybe further to the point, maybe we should make that new world in our own image. So it's like taking what the Commonwealth is trying to do, because Commonwealth is trying to bring things back to the way they were. The CR is like, no, we get it. And we said this in other episodes, but never so clearly, because we have a clearer picture of what the TV show is trying to do. But the Civic Republic is saying, oh, no, we know we're going to eradicate, we're going to beat this dead world. And we're going to remake it in our own image, which is kind of like why I think, Rachel, you're like, no, they're not wrong. This world sucks. And the old world kind of sucks. Bella Vacanza, really? Really, Yumiko? Really? Pages stuck together? Who had that book prior? Who had that book beforehand? Somebody should have a word with them. Disgusting.
Oh my God.
Anyway. So
Ew. Get new butts.
Watch our Walking Dead coverage. Okay. Anyway. I just needed to get that out there because I thought that he touched on a nerve that I was like, oh, let's watch Leo. Does he embrace the Walking Dead? Like the Walking Dead philosophy. I like it. I love it. To that point of the Foothold. What we are all trying to do. First of all, you need to do your thing, Rachel. You need to do your thing. Do you want to know what your thing is?
My thing. What's my thing?
Who is Dennis played by?
Oh, fuck. I remembered while we were watching.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He was, fuck. Oh my God. I remembered while we were watching, and then
Here I am.
And then it escaped.
Giving Rachel the floor.
I know, right? And I dropped the ball. He was always with Brianna. They were like a tag team on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I cannot think of his name.
Dennis is actually played by Maximilian Osinski, who was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he played Agent Davis. Who, as a tangential connection, was acting alongside Brianna Venskus, who was on The Walking Dead as Beatrice from Oceanside. Yep. Interesting, lovely connection. I always liked his character, Agent Dennis.
Agent Dennis!
Did I say it right? It was Agent Dennis.
Agent Davis.
Davis Dennis.
Agent Dennis. I love it.
Whatever, Agent Red Shirt, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
He did make it to the end, I think. Right?
He had some lines. Yeah, he had lines.
Yeah, I think he did relatively make it to the end, I think. Right?
Yeah, they both made it to the final season. I like Agent Dennis better now.
Well, I mean, maybe that's what he is, Agent Dennis on The Walking Dead World Beyond.
I mean, right? He kind of is.
Let's do something very uncharacteristically on the show. Can't believe I'm doing this. Attractive?
Really? We're going there?
Yeah, I feel like I have to go there. The brooding loner look with the hair in his face like this, like little emo look kind of thing going on here.
Personally, not my taste. Not unattractive, but not my taste.
Jasmine?
Is an attractive individual, yeah.
Okay. Just gauging the audience. Sharon D. in the those who don't know, Sharon D's in the audience. So.
I more enjoyed the looks he was giving Silas in the truck. Whenever Silas would try and ask a question, and he'd shoot him a glance, that was my favorite part of Agent Dennis.
Okay, great thing, because you're like, what is this stupid? Does he not get it? Right. It's like,
right.
Don't go for the knife, you dummy, or go to prison, and you won't have a foothold. And come on, man. It's a good thing that you're bringing this up, because part of the raison d'etre of this guy is he just seems never-endingly bitter.
He reminds me a lot of Jason Warner-Smith. What's it? Why am I drawing a blank?
Gavin. Gavin from The Walking Dead.
Gavin, thank you. I kept wanting to say Garrett. I'm like, that's not right. Gavin, yeah. Dennis reminds me a lot of Garrett. Just sort of towing the company line. I said Garrett again. I meant Gavin.
Garrett, Gavin, Dennis.
Stuck on Garrett, yeah.
Dennis, Davis.
Right?
Jefferson, Jackson.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's who he reminded me of.
No, that's good that you say this, because you find out at the end why it might be that he's brooding and just constantly pissed off and annoyed and whatnot. And it seems to be, and the kids allude to this as well. I say kids, they're probably in their 20s or whatever. I don't know.
I think they're supposed to be like teens, but the actors are probably in that.
Agreed. Yeah.
Just like Baby Milton. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like 40. He's 40 playing it. What you guys said was a 25-year-old.
I just looked it up. He's actually 52. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But Rachel, I don't like being manipulated. Did you see my subtle win?
I did. Oh, the look on your face was priceless, though.
Guys, come on.
52. Man.
I would have fallen for it too.
I know that.
Makeup is everything.
I couldn't keep it up. I felt bad that I had manipulated you after our conversation.
I mean, as someone who's a purveyor of truth, it doesn't apply to me. That's the CR's way. Anyway.
Yeah, Dennis. Yeah, Sharon explains why Dennis is bitter. It's because he hasn't gotten any sweet hucking.
Sweet hucking.
Sweet hucking. Huck yeah.
Maybe, right? Because the photo that he has in the visor is of them hugging. It seems to be they're in post-military uniforms again. She was a Marine. Maybe there was our cadet uniform. I don't know. The kids even mentioned this. Like
something about a secret girl, like a mystery girl.
That Silas has a secret girl.
Just like Dennis.
Right. Well, and then now we have to go to the song that's played in the car. In the beginning, when we find out at the end, right? This is an Allman Brothers band. And I like how the kid in the facility goes, no turned unstoned. So that kind of fits with the Allman Brothers band. I like there's a little tiny thread connection to the song itself. So whatever. And they're in New York and hippy dippy country, so whatever. So the song is called Trouble No More. So maybe Jennifer Malick was trouble for Dennis, and it seems like maybe because the way Silas puts it to Dennis, he's like, this seems like punishment, Dennis. And then the surprising thing of Dennis going, dipshit, you're wrong. This is us getting a foothold. And he's like, is it? And then he just kind of walks away. Because in a sense, Silas, is he wrong, right? Like, is Dennis lying to him? It's like, oh, is this what you're supposed to say to new recruits? Or do you really believe this?
Yeah.
And we're left not really knowing what it is that Dennis believes.
I did a bit of maths. And I did some estimates, and even if they were killing like hundreds of walkers a week, it would take them a very, very, very long time.
Because of the population?
Because of the population size and everything. So my maths suggested that if they wanted to clear it in 10 years, they'd have to be killing at least 33,000 walkers per week.
Oh my gosh.
And then you divide that by 7 facilities.
That's across 6 facilities. It makes me think that it is more of a way of just like giving people something to do rather than actually having like a long-term benefit.
Making people feel useful, right?
Which links you to what? To the conversation that Lila has with Hope. There are so many people out there that can't do what you do, that sit in waiting for you to do the thing. This links so nicely to what the conversation between Dennis and Silas. Like, we're just trying to do a thing. We're just trying to be part of something bigger.
He also let Silas know that these other kids volunteered to be there. Like they asked to be there. If we believe Dennis, they chose to be there.
And I think it's Webb that has aspirations of being a soldier, a guard at that facility. I mean, meager aspirations, but there you are. Like, they volunteered. They want to rise up in ranks. You know?
Yeah, there's like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And like a tiny stepping stone. Like, they're happy to get whatever they can do to bring about this future. So how does this make you feel? That's all I care about after hearing all this. Because yes, we do get a little bit insight into the philosophy. All of us are children, uncles, aunts, fathers, whatever. We're all doing this for everybody, not just our individual families. But how does this make you feel that they just want to be a part of the thing? We come into the series with the knowledge that these guys, they're shitty. They're just shitty. They do shitty things to people. And if they see you, they kill you. And then you hear all this.
We probably won't ever get to see any portion of Silas's interrogation with the CRM, what they did or what they asked or any of that. All we know is what Elizabeth talked about, and she said that Silas was stonewalling. He's not giving anything up. So, and then all of a sudden we see him being transported to this body removal site. Why wouldn't they kill him? Why is Silas? I mean, I'm thankful. I'm so happy he's still around, but why is he here?
Okay, so this brings me back to the Commonwealth. Do you remember what we had said about the reprocessing facility? Which I'm admitting, we were most likely wrong. We were wrong. I thought there were a bunch of actors and they're trying to get intel. Like, honey, it's been 9 months. You know, that whole thing.
Right? Yeah.
The
you
interrogation
believe
room
there
where
is reprocessing now.
Because, I mean, it makes sense now. After we've seen what we've seen, we're like, oh, they need to, because the Farrells and really the state of the world that we weren't even aware of, right?
Yeah.
And so they're trying to turn them into doughy pieces of compliant shit, right? So
yeah.
why I say all this funny shit is because, okay, if he's not stonewalling, well, okay, these kids volunteered to do a job, but maybe a simultaneous job is to have these.
No useful data goes to waste.
So
Is
just
wasted.
like Lila,
Whatever.
yeah, just like Lila is dropping nuggets to Kubelik. Just by way of Dennis, these kids could just as easily go, hey, we're kids too. Let's talk about our things. What I love about that simultaneous conversation, which let's agree, is that possible? Like maybe they can get intel indirectly from these kids.
What kind of intel could they have?
Okay, let's throw the scenario out there. Oh, we're having conversations with Silas. Oh. Dennis goes, hey, Webb, what did you guys talk about today? Oh, Silas was just telling me about blah, blah, blah. Oh, that sounds interesting. Let me report that.
Information from Silas specifically, nothing to do with the job they're doing.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's a good soft way of getting intel, right?
Yes, yeah. Put Silas with a group of kids that make him feel comfortable. He opens up. Yes, totally on board. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then we go to Silas in the beginning of the episode, checking his bandaged wound.
Reminding us.
Reminding himself of why he's out here.
And the audience that Elton and Percy are still out there.
Yeah, obviously the audience. But then, what you said had got me thinking, like, oh, that's why he's doing that. He's trying to remember why he's there. I'm a distraction so that Percy and Elton can do whatever they need to do to get further in, just like Iris to get further in, Felix. I'm the fall guy. I need to be here and I just need to shut the fuck up. And maybe we'll see Silas himself, because our psychological profile of Silas is that, he is a person who was almost valueless, needed a family, who may even find a family with these people. This is a guy that's desperate to, I see a vacuum and a need to kind of be with other people and to have this found family in light of the fact that his family rejected him in various degrees of rejection, right? Maybe except for his uncle and his grandparents, which are kind of cute. I love that. I still love that line. I keep thinking back to that scene. It's a philosophy of mine now. But anyways, besides that. So this could be a potential quagmire of conflict for Silas. Like he likes these kids, maybe. He might end up liking these kids, but at the same time he has to keep going it's like that rubber band around your wrist to remind yourself of your addiction, kind of like for smokers. Interesting thing to watch. But there's something that happens. The dead one that Dennis is delivering to the research facility.
The RF, yeah.
Happens to be one of these tracked walkers that have all the data collection things in the back. You see it in the beginning and you see it at the end again. Little bookmark, right?
Yeah.
And it looked gross. It looked like the head looked all but like a skull almost, right? Did you see what I saw in the
one in the back of the truck or the one in the video?
Not in the video. I meant in the salvage facility. I'm going to call it the salvage. I don't know what the hell it's called. Walker disposal facility.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
If you look at it in the shadows, the head looked all but decomposed completely, like a bone.
Is that what they're calling a BO4?
Yeah.
Okay, that was what Sharondy and I had kind of I wrote down all these things that the kids said, and I'm like, what in the? And then we were trying to figure out why there was a walker chained up in there, and we're like, well, it's not for security. Like what's a chained up walker gonna protect, And then he's like, oh yeah, we found a BO4 with a dead battery. I'm like, and then Sharondy and I both were like, it's got to be that walker that we saw in the unit in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like tagging a bear and releasing it to the wild and then tracking it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so it happened upon this facility so they can track migration patterns. Oh, wait, kind of like the first season, which Dr. Bavilar was doing with the spray paint.
Oh, yeah.
Orange, nice little callback. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. They do science differently.
I forgot about Dr. Bavilar.
And one thing to note is put him in stage 2. That's what he said. I found a BO4 dead battery. Put him in stage 2.
Put him in 2, yeah.
Or sorry, he didn't say stage 2. I put stage in there because then later on he says immediately after that, just finishing up the stage 6ers.
Yeah.
Meaning stage 6 is like final. I think
like almost said.
Yeah, like practically unusable, right? Like, or maybe stages of composition, right?
Oh, yeah.
I say this because the number on Lila's badge is also like N6 or 6. Connection, I have no idea. Maybe that's levels. She deals in stage 6s, or I don't know. Just thought it was a nice little thing to kind of connect. I don't know what it means. Maybe you guys do. Who knows?
No, I don't yet, but worth noting in the back of my head and look for it later. Now, if we're equating the numbers with the levels of decomposition, 6 would be pretty high, right? Mm-hmm. Personally, it didn't look like Dr. Abbott was too terribly decomposed. So I don't know if I could agree that it's that type of connection, but there might definitely be something connecting the number 6.
Maybe. I have no idea.
Yeah. It's worth
I don't know why
paying attention to, though.
That's why, like I said out front, I don't know what that means. I just thought
But it's
maybe
there.
there's a connection there. Yeah.
But it's there, and we know that they don't do anything that's not on purpose. So it's worth paying attention to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good catch.
BO4.
Good catch, David.
I also think BO4 is the unit name. Like it's a BO4. It's being tracked. You know. I also like the
BO4.
idea.
Oh, okay.
I also like the idea that it's like B4.
It kind of sounds
as a play
like
on words, because the captions are like B, the letter B, O-O-H, and
Yeah.
then 4 spelled out, right?
Okay, I my captions did the same thing. It wasn't O as in 0. It was O like O.
Yeah,
I'm like,
as
is
in-
that wrong?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't know. And what does BO stand for, if anything else? So
Body odor.
jerk. I really couldn't think of it. I don't know.
Low hanging fruit. Sorry.
Biometric bioorganism 4.
Yeah.
Ding. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
That was my best effort, people. That's all I got. That's all I got, people. I didn't even. I was on the spot like that.
And I hope we learn more from
I
these.
feel like bioorganism is one word.
Yeah.
I
about
told you that's all I got.
biometric?
It wasn't good enough. I know that. Okay.
Biometric organizer? I don't know.
Biodegradable organism.
Ooh.
That could work.
We figured it out together. I'll share the credit on the research paper. Thank you very much.
We all get the same A.
Participation trophies for everybody.
That's right.
When Kubelik was talking to Leo, he says, "My family's the most important thing in the world." And Kubelik says, "Yeah, that's what you said in your messages to them that we intercepted." And that made me think of Virginia telling John, "Yeah, that's what you said. I've read all your letters. Cameron made sure I did."
what you
And I
said.
just thought that was a fun little thing there. What?
Okay, so well, what do you think of that cool little parallel? Okay, fine, cool.
Yep.
Anything
like
you want
it.
to add to that before I say something?
I think it's pretty clear, implying Elizabeth's the villain here.
I wanted to add one more thing that occurred to me because we saw this in the first episode. Again, soft episode, kind of ramping things up, but there was a thing that Hope did. She had the book that she used, the geology book, to place all the communications in, right? Because she would cut them out and put them in the biology, to put them in a safe place, because obviously nobody reads geology books. Who in their right mind would? Okay, fine. But then I thought to myself, code books. Maybe there's code in Leo's messages that nobody is aware of. And then we keep talking about pattern recognizing and all that stuff. Leo may be playing a game with the girls. Like eventually they'll figure out what's going on. Maybe I'm gathering intel on what's going on. Maybe I'm giving them hints to like a cure or whatever. Because Elizabeth is just looking at the deception part of it, right? You did this thing that you shouldn't have done, but we're going to let you do it. It's kind of like why I was saying the perimeter is a buffer. It's a means to allow the scientists to research without the interference or this pervasive nature of security, right? So let them be free to create. But then we bring guys like Mason into the picture, who, let's talk about that just for a second. I said Mason ... Belshaw question mark. Did you think that as well? Because she...
Like an actual relation to Lila, or he is taking on a similar role as Lila, because that's what I was picking up. He was sent there to distract Hope.
It wouldn't be unusual for it to be like maybe her son.
It absolutely could be, but I think more than that, he was sent there to distract Hope the same way Lila was sent to distract Leo.
And Jasmine just said in the chat for some reason. Just said it out loud. You're here.
You're
She
right
said-
there.
I didn't want to interrupt.
No. Please
interrupt.
We're very interrupty people. But you said definitely not me. I don't have a geology book. What are you majoring in uni right now?
Medical science.
Okay.
Cool. There you go. This is how I'm figuring you out. It's like now I'm doing a psychological profile on Jasmine. So going back to the actual book and all that, and then Mason, right? Code book, fine, cool. It's possible. We'll never know. I thought we might have touched on that a little bit. Like, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? What is exactly what he's saying mean? Like, is it innocuous? Is he just checking up on them? I don't know. Maybe. Well, it's for another day. But Mason, yeah, because he knows who this person is. It seems like when Hope is walking out into the courtyard, it's like, oh, is that her? Is that you hear?
Everybody knows who she is, yeah.
And Charity will say this in just a second as well. But yeah, Mason knows who he is. But it may be that we are allowing these people to work, but we have people embedded to make sure that we know all that's going on, and we need to intercept communications. That's why what Charity's saying is kind of like, oh, it's no accident that this is a parallel. They're not letting these people be free thinkers. This isn't that kind of upstate New York people. Hippy dippy, Woodstock, whatever. Get a life.
What is a B04 or a stage sixer?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm guessing that the B has to do with A and B, partially because we see Dr. Abbott at the end there, and he is the test subject A.
Okay, so what she's saying directly
And he's
refutes what we...
TSA 402.
A, right. So is a B, is that Rick is a B? Is he a dead one that they put out in the wild? Because that's what Sharon is saying. She's saying Rick is dead. Let's all cancel Sharon D. No, but is there something to say about that? Because, I mean, it's not unusual to think that.
I'm wondering if the B04 refers to the walker or the machine that's attached to the walker.
I think it's the machine.
Yeah.
But then machine, walker, why wouldn't you call it that? Which I want to just drop this one thing. I love that Will calls walkers dum-dums.
Dum-dums. Yes, I wrote that down too. I love it. I love writing down every new word for a zombie that's not zombie.
And Leo calls them dead ones. Very, very clinical. I'm partial to dum-dums because my uncle calls everybody a dum-dum. And so I love my uncle. Yeah, I know. It's stupid.
No, not at all. That's sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. But we're in agreement that Sharon D's wrong, right? I hope so. Because that's I hope she's wrong.
I'm not going to say she's wrong, but I will say I hope Rick's not dead.
Sin gives Hope the mop. It just made me also a little callback to Fear, because that's where my mind works. It made me think of Alicia and Morgan in the closet at the truck stop where Morgan gets the mop, and then later on Alicia's like, "Oh, I see you fixed the mop."
Yeah.
Just, I know it doesn't mean anything, but it was just funny. Hope coming out of the building and hearing everybody talk about her kind of reminded me of Silas in season 1 when he's walking down the hallway in the school after his tape stops playing and he can hear everybody talking about him. And Hope and Silas kind of parallel each other a little bit in this episode, while Hope is learning about what they want to do to end the walkers. Silas is actually doing the physical part of ending the walkers. I just thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, that's all I got. Hope you guys have a great show.
Yay.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.
Yeah, I love you too. So I like that little parallel. But this is exactly what I was saying. But this is why Lila is in the middle, Silas is on the right, or whatever, wherever you want to put them. But they're on the Hope and Silas are on the extremes. Lila is in the middle explaining there are people out there that are just trying to do whatever to bring about the future. They need to know that they're part of the solution. So that we give them the thing to do, and which is why it seems like Dennis is out there for punishment purposes. He looks like he was a mechanic. Mechanic seems to be a valuable position. I fix things that are broken. Mm-hmm. And I don't disregard what he says. I fix things that are broken. I don't disregard that. I like that thought. Like, where are we going to see that next, right?
Is Huck broken? Does she need some fixing?
Find out next week in Jennifer Malick's vagina.
Oh my God.
I just want to note that the Allman Brothers Band song Trouble No More sounds like, and it's odd that you hear this at the beginning of the episode. I'm not going to go through the song. I'm just saying it right now. I promise you. She's like,
everyone listen to it.
Oh, he's going to go through the song. Oh. No, just listen to it, because it's odd that you hear this in the beginning of the song, because when you get to the end, you realize Huck is obviously involved with him in some capacity, maybe the Trouble, maybe Middletown, New York, whatever. All I'm saying is you find out at the end, you have to go back to the beginning and watch the whole episode all over again so you can figure out that this song is all about, girl, you trouble. Girl, you trouble. Oh, you're going to be kind to me now? Oh, now you got to go? Okay. Listen to the song.
Maybe he was in trouble without her, and now that she's back, his trouble is over.
And it could be both, I mean, to be honest with you. Because maybe when she's around, she's troubled. Maybe it's gone, my heart is in trouble. And I think that's what the song's all about.
Yeah.
When you're here, you're trouble. When you're gone, it's trouble. Like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And this is something we need to touch on, because I know we forgot to talk about it. Perimeter, Kublek comes in. They almost have a scare.
Yeah.
Iris tells whatever. I like that conversation because we get to know a little bit more about Jennifer Malick. Maybe more of a connection to Middletown, New York. Maybe that these people are the people she saved. But they know about her clearly.
So there was a very, very quick and brief moment when Elizabeth is explaining, oh, yes, my daughter was gone for 2 years and she just came back, where Felix sort of snaps to Iris like he's making the connection that Huck is actually Elizabeth's daughter. Is Sharon and
Iris
I kind of talked about that, and we were both on the same page that was him making that connection, and Iris was just like, yeah, I already know. Like, bitch, no, you didn't. Fucking fuck.
I thought it was more the opposite. I thought Iris is kind of looking up to Felix, going, "Yeah, I know, because we had this conversation at Campus Connie. That I'm putting the Felix catch on."
But she
catch
didn't know
on,
it was
Felix.
Huck.
Oh, she knows it was Huck.
No, she didn't.
knows.
No, she didn't.
The whole time she
No,
knew.
she didn't. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Rach, you're gonna end up liking her no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be a day.
And with that, everybody, if you like what you heard, head over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and like Iris Bennett.
You don't have to.
No, you're gonna.
You have to rate us, but you don't have to like Iris.
You will eventually. You will like Iris, and if 5-star Neckplin is all you need to know if that you like us. And please try to rate us after every episode. It helps others know that we're worth listening to, but it's also a great way to communicate with us. Let us know everything we got wrong, especially about liking Iris. If you want to know what's going on behind the scenes, you want to know when we record so you can join in the chat. You want to download this episode unedited, head over to ko-fi.com and create an account and follow us on ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. You don't have to tip us. You don't have to join a tier membership, although it might be a good idea too if it's only $1 a month to get all this stuff. Now, we say this because it's a signal to let us know that we're on to something. Yeah, $1 a month might not mean so much to you, and you could throw that easily away, but it's a signal to us that we're doing something right. And I encourage you to do so. It at least lets you in on that other half of the coin, lets you into the CR that is Squawking Dead. Okay. And with that, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Jasmine, for your inaugural Survivors Tier hosting. We're going to embarrass you every single episode. Many more to come, hopefully. That was really, really cool. And you, Kazuma, Rachel, thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah. I'm here.
It's not as if you're like the best person in the world. My favorite person.
I'm here.
On this. It's not as if you're like the favorite person. Everybody loves you way more than they love me.
Oh, whatever. Oh, my God. That is not even close to true.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Say bye, Jasmine. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. You have just witnessed a episode hosted by me, David Cameo, and Cosmom09, Rachel Burt, plus our Survivors tier member, Jasmine, at jasmine.iac on Instagram, whom helped support this episode as well with other Survivors tier members like, well, let's just mention her again, at jasmine.iac on Instagram, at Whispers UK on Instagram, as well as, you've seen her before, at Eliza Jones 71 on Instagram. But this episode has also been brought to you by our Whisperers tier members, at Aiden the Raven on Twitter, at Judith.Morton on Instagram, and at Snick3 on Instagram and Twitter. But let's not forget, at FanArtLindy on Instagram, and you can reach her Ko-fi page at ko-fi.com/FanArtLindy. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. There was a lot of laughter had by all. A lot of it was cut out because, that's how we roll. Try not to waste too much time laughing and move on to other big points. But we hope to see you in the next episode, and I hope you're participating in the Spooky Squawktober cosplay contest. You have until midnight Pacific time, Monday, midnight Pacific time. That's 3 a.m. On the East Coast of the U.S. So yes, cosplayers in the TWU realm, please submit your cosplays. You have a chance at winning a signed copy of Negan Lives by Jeffrey Dean Morgan himself, Negan, as well as a $25 gift card to Michael's to buy all your cosplay accoutrement. But if you are from another country besides the US that does not have a Michael's, we will figure it out, a $25 equivalent. But second place winner will actually win a illustration by none other than Walker Wynn. It is a Walking Dead World Beyond poster. It is actually my favorite of Walker Wynn's posters because it's probably her most colorful. It's very brilliantly designed. It really captures the essence of the series. But either way, For both winners, you will get to take home one item from the Squawking Dead merch store, any item of your choice. With that, everybody, I will see you in the next one. I will see you soon. And if you like what you heard, obviously, you can rate us at ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. 5 stars and neck plan is all we need to know that you love us. But if you want to follow our journey further, head over to ko-fi.com/squawkingdead and follow us there. You don't have to tip us. You don't have to buy us a coffee. You don't have to join a membership tier. Just follow us. When we do something cool, that's when you jump in. You can either join a monthly tier for as little as $1 or just tip us and get 30 days of supported back content. I can't wait to talk to you guys soon. You mean the world to us. Thank you so much for listening.